Good evening, everybody. We are out at Lake Pleasant, and today, or should I say tonight, we are doing something a little bit different. With the intense summer heat on and a bunch of fire restrictions up north, nighttime desert wheeling is pretty much the only logical choice for a trip close to home. So as you can probably tell, there are a ton of Jeeps pulling into this clearing here just off of Castle Hot Springs Road. Today we are tagging along with a local West Valley Jeep group on our first ever official group run, which is also the first night run we've done in a while. The plan for tonight is to get everybody rounded up and head west about 5 miles to the old Bog Ranch. We'll be following the Morgan City Wash pretty much the whole time. So we've got a good variety of vehicles joining us today, about 15 in total. Of course, we've got all kinds of Wranglers on this trip, from the older YJs and TJs to the newer JKs and JKUs. We have a Chevy Colorado, and most importantly, we have another ZJ in the group tonight. So it looks like everybody is ready to go, and we will be getting underway. It is currently just a little before the actual sunset, but by the time we make it out to the ranch, it should be close to dark. Of course, first things first, we had to make a brief detour to pass underneath Castle Hot Springs Road and line up all the Jeeps for a picture. I mean, is it even a group run if you don't take a group picture? Of course, that is easier said than done when you have 15 Jeeps. Our ZJ definitely helped bring a little variation to the sea of Wranglers. After many photos, it was time to get back on track and begin our trip west up the wash. We passed through the narrow section under the road and began following Morgan City Wash. With everybody in tow, we listened into the CB chatter as we trucked along. The trail remained mostly easy the whole way. There were a few sections of deep sand and rocks along the wash, but for the most part, things were quick moving. We bounced in and out of four-wheel drive, however, you probably could get by with two-wheel drive on this trail. Some of the wash banks were pretty rugged and made for a nice change of scenery along the way. After roughly an hour of cruising, we arrived at Bog Ranch just after sunset. We broke out the chairs as people fanned out to explore the ranch. The ruins here at Bog Ranch are fairly spread out. The east portion of the ranch is filled with the old corrals and cattle pens that remain today in pretty good shape. To the west end of the ranch is the former house, which today not much remains other than numerous cement foundations that outline where the house once stood. Back in 2007, my dad and I rode out here on one of our first ever ATV rides back when I was 13, and we visited the ranch, which at that point still had standing buildings. Since then, however, it has been burned down and vandalized by tweakers, according to the ranger that stopped to check in on us and see what we were up to. The ranch house ruins are interesting to take a walk around, especially as the light was fading from the sky. The walkway and porch remain out in front of the ranch house and remain in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, virtually nothing is known about the history of this specific site called Bog Ranch, or any of the other ranches in the nearby vicinity. We hung around in the wash as we let things cool off and get darker. The group roamed around and a few jeeps ventured up the hill above the ranch to check things out. After it was sufficiently dark, we decided to give the ranch another walkthrough, but this time we would be using black lights. It didn't take long to spot a few scorpions among the ranch ruins. Lots of trash remains which provide plenty of great hiding spots for creepy crawlers. Unfortunately, the ranch has been used for target shooting, among other things, and has lots of junk scattered about. After some time exploring the ranch, it was now getting a little bit late, and it was time to turn the convoy around and head back. Bog Ranch Trail does continue up the wash, eventually looping back to Castle Hot Springs and Boulders OHV area. Tonight, however, we would be sticking to the 5-mile out and back version of the trail to Bog Ranch and back. We only covered about 10 miles, but it was still fun to get out on the trails. The point of the quick 10-mile trip was to get out when it wasn't so hot, have something cool to explore, and talk a little bit of Jeep with some new friends. The drive back to the main road was uneventful. The trail definitely looked a little bit different in the complete darkness, but was fun nevertheless. When we reached pavement, the group briefly reconvened before splitting off and heading our respective ways. Overall, this trip was a lot of fun. It was cool to be part of a group run and meet other fellow off-roaders. Not much remains of Bog Ranch today, but the trail and the site of the ranch house provide an easy yet entertaining outing close to the valley. Of course, you could always extend your trip by continuing up the wash, where conditions do get a little more difficult. These night runs are just about mandatory during these brutal summer months here at the lower elevation parts of Arizona. Here in the near future, we'll be featuring our big summer off-road trip, so stay tuned to our channel for that and other future trip videos. Hopefully we can do a few more group runs in the future because we did have a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in to this video and stay cool out there.